Hello everyone, and welcome back to another component design challenge. And today this is what we're going to be building. So it is all UI except for our search, which we have on top, where we can type in and it's going to filter depending on what we have in our very nice looking table right here. And it just has some minimal elements for the UI just to beautify it. And this design is inspired by UI Design Daily. So this is the original design that I got. And if you want to have access to all the code that you're going to write in this video, then simply jump into my GitHub profile and then search for this repository right here, or you can as well just simply click the link that is going to be in the description. So right away, I want to start, and I'm going to start by creating or the opening up my terminal, going into my desktop, and then I want to create a Vite application. So pnpm create Vite add latest, and I'm going to call this app dashboard like so. And I'm going to select React and then React with JavaScript, and then we don't want to install that. And then guys, simply say code app dashboard, which is going to open up VS Code into this folder. And then I can close this, and there is our application opened up. So you can close these windows, we don't need them. And then Ctrl J to open up your integrated terminal, because we want to go ahead and install Tailwind CSS, which is going to help us. So pnpm install Tailwind CSS, and then at Tailwind CSS /Vite, if I can type it. And then as this is installing, let's jump into the Vite config. So this has finished installing, but for some reason I can't type inside my code editor. So I'm going to say code.-r, which is going to restart VS Code into this folder, and hopefully that is going to fix it. Does that even help? Let's say Ctrl-Shift-P and say what is it, one restart or reload window. Reload window. Does that help? Okay, there we go. So I can now type inside this. So let's go ahead and now import Tailwind CSS. So Tailwind, what am I typing? So Tailwind CSS from at Tailwind CSS /Vite. And then right here, we're going to call Tailwind CSS, say that. And then let's jump into our index.css. We can remove all this and then just say at import and then Tailwind CSS. It's a double quotes. And then I'm going to say that using my asterisk, I'm going to say at apply. Sorry, not asterisk, but the body. I'm going to say at apply bg blue -100, which is going to apply the bg blue 100 class. Save that. And then if we start our server, so pnpm dev, this should now open up on localhost 5173, so that we can reload this and we should now see our Vite application right there. So Tailwind CSS is working as we expect it to work, so that's very nice. Now let's place this side by side, and then we're going to delete the assets folder and the app.css. We don't need those two, so delete. And then inside the inside the app.csx, we can now begin working on this. So what we need to do is we're going to create a component called sidebar, which is coming from /sidebar. And then we're going to also create a component called table content from /table content, so that now we can say export default function app. And then I'm going to go ahead and return a main element with a class name of flex. And then inside the main element, we're going to have a div with a class name of fixed, and then size -72, and then bg blue -500. But this is going to have an opacity of 50, so /50, and then rounded full, and then blur -3xl. And then can copy this div one more time. Now notice that they don't have anything inside. This one is now going to say bg rows -600 with an opacity of 50, and then rounded full, blur -3xl. And then now we want to position it to the right by 4, and then to the top by top -1/2. And then give it a -z index of 10, so that it appears behind everything else that we're going to position on top, which is basically the sidebar and the table content. So below this, we're going to render out the sidebar, which we're going to create. And then below the sidebar, we're going to render out a div with a class name of flex-1. And then on large screens and above, we're going to say margin left -72, and then height -full. So what flex-1 is going to do is that because the main element already has a class name of flex, then it means that the sidebar and the div inside here are going to be flex items. So the sidebar is going to be positioned on the left, right around here because we're going to give it a fixed width. And then flex one here is going to ensure that inside here, we're going to render the table content. It is going to ensure that the table content is going to take up the rest of the remaining space. So let's go ahead and create these two components. So inside the source folder, create a new file called sidebar.jsx. And then you can say export default function sidebar. And then simply return a div that says sidebar. You can copy that and then create a new file inside here called table content.jsx. Paste this in, highlight this, change this into table content, save that. So that now, if we render out our app, we should now see sidebar and then table content right there. And then you can see our blue element is right there. And then our rose element is right there. So let's jump into the sidebar. Let's begin to build it out. So inside the sidebar, we're going to give this div a class name of height-screen and then a fixed width of 72. And then padding all round of 4. And of course, we need to give it the class name of fixed because we want that when you scroll, then it is going to be scrolling with us when you scroll the table. And then inside this div, we're going to have another div with a class name of padding all round of 4 and height-full, rounded-xl, and then flex and flex-column, and items-center, and then justify between. And still within these class names, we need to give it a BG white with an opacity of 10 because we want to make it glassmorphic. And then backdrop blur large, and then border 4 and border white with an opacity of 50. And then of course shadow large. I'm missing that one. So shadow large to give it a glassmorphic effect. Inside this, we're going to have a div with the class name of flex and items-center, justify-start, and then gap-4. And then inside this, we're going to have an image which we're going to get from Unsplash, but the image is going to have a class name of rounded-full. So rounded-full, size-16, and object-cover. And then the alt attribute for in case the image fails to load, we're simply going to say my name, because this is going to be showing like the profile of the person. And then below the image, we're going to have an article. Inside this article, we're going to have an h4 with a class name of text-base. And this is simply going to say my name. Below the h4, we're going to have a paragraph with a class name of text-sm. And then another class name of text gray-900 with an opacity of 75. And that is going to say example@gmail.com. And then below the article and then below the div, we're going to have a UL with a class name of flex-column, and gap-10. Below this, we're going to have a list item. And then inside the list item, we're going to have an anchor tag with an href that is not going anywhere, but it's going to have some class names here of BG white padding all round of 4. On hover, we're going to say opacity-75 and then rounded-large. And then inside this, we're going to say recent files. Now we're going to copy this list item. So copy. And then we're going to say 1 and 2. The second one and the third one are now not going to have a BG of white, so you can remove it. But the rest of the class names are going to remain the same. And then this one is going to say documents. And then the third one here is going to say videos. Now we can save that to see what we have on the screen. And we should see, oh, the flex, seems like flex column is not applying. Flex column. Okay, this one, flex. There we go. Reload. Well, that is annoying because these three are list items that should be appearing on the bottom here. Or is Tailwind not applying? Is Tailwind actually applying? Seems like it's not applying all the class names that I want. Let's just finish building out the sidebar first of all, and then I'm going to figure that out. So we're going to go below the unordered list. We're going to have a div with a class name of bg-blue-600, and then rounded-large, padding all round of 4, space on the y of 4, text white, and then text center. Inside this, we're going to have an h2 with a class name of font-bold, and then this is going to say upgrade pro. Then below the h2, we're going to have a paragraph with a class name of text-sm, and then text white with an opacity of 75. This is going to say unlock features like collaboration and unlimited storage. And then below the paragraph, we're going to have a button with a class name of bg white rounded, and then text blue dash 500, padding all around of 4, text sm, and then on hover, we're going to say bg white with an opacity of 75, close it out. This is going to say upgrade account, save that, and we should now see, okay, Tailwind is not applying. Tailwind is not applying because of what? Let's see. Tailwind CSS. Seems like everything should be okay. Let me shut down the server. Let's restart it and then reload that. There we go. Okay. Okay, so Tailwind does not apply for some reason. But now we need to get the image from Unsplash. So Unsplash. Let's get a portrait image. So let's just say portrait. And then we can use this one. This is a common, I've seen this image used many times. So let me use this one. Copy image address. Inside the sidebar, we have the image right here. So we need to give it a source and then paste that in and save that. And now our image should appear in our app dashboard right there. So now let's change the title. I've just noticed inside the index.html, change this into a capital D, remove the dash, change this into a capital A, save that, and it should now reload. So next, let's begin to work on the table content. So let's jump into table content. So inside here, we're going to have some kind of state. So we're going to need to import use state from React. And I'm going to copy this from the repository. So inside the app dashboard, I want to go into the source folder and then table content. And I want to copy this. So table data, you can see it's quite a bit. I don't want to type all that out. And it's basically an array of objects which we're going to use to populate our table. So an array of objects inside. So each object has the name, the last modified, and the kind of project that it is. And then let's shrink that down so that we don't have to scroll a lot. Now, inside table content, inside the component, we're going to have our state value. So const search and set search, which is going to be for our search input, which we're going to have on top. This is going to be equal to use state, and by default, it is going to be an empty string. And then I'm going to say const filtered data. So basically, when we type inside the search input, we want to filter the data, and we're going to say table data, which is the name of our array right here. So table data dot filter, and then for every item that we get back, we want to go ahead and check, and we're going to say backticks and then $sign curly bracket. We want to check for the item dot name, and then we want to also check for the item dot last modified, and then once again we want to check for the item dot kind. So that if we type inside the input and we happen to type the kind of the project that it is, so let me give this drop down. If we search for in Visual Studio, then this project should pop up. If we search for the last modified and we search for just now, then this should also pop up, and then we can also search by its name. That's why we are doing all this. So we're going to say that if we are searching for all that, so outside of this backtick, we want to say .to lowercase, and the reason why you're doing this is so that you don't have to care about capitalizing your searches. So whether you capitalize them or not, they're all going to be transformed into lowercase, and then you can search. And then check dot includes the search dot to lowercase. So whether it includes what we type in, then that constitutes filtered data. And now that therefore means that inside our div, we can return a div with the class name of padding all around of 4. Inside here, we're going to return another div. This div is going to have an input. And this input is going to be a type of text with a placeholder that says search, and then the value for this is going to be our state value of search. And then on change, we're going to call our event of e and say set search into e.target.value so that it catches whatever we type in, and then give this a class name of border-bottom, and then border gray-100. Then on focus, border-blue-600, and then width-full and outline none, and then padding all around of 4. If we save that, then our input is going to appear right there, so that when you click on it and it focuses, then it gives this blue border on the bottom. Now below the input and then below this div, we're going to have our table. So our table element, we're going to give this a width of 100% so that it takes the full width. And then inside the table, we're going to have the table head. And then inside the table head, we're going to have table row. And then inside table row, we're going to have table details. Now, table details is going to have a class name here of uppercase, and then text-sm, padding all round of 4, text grade 700 with an opacity of 75. And then this is going to say name. Now I can copy this down, I think 2 or 3 more times. The second one is going to say last modified. This third one is going to say kind. That therefore means that we don't need the fourth one. So if you say that, then our table appears right there. Fantastic. Now, below table head, we're going to have table body, so T body. Inside this, we want to check for filtered data dot map, and then we want to get back the item and then the index. And then we're going to go ahead and return a table row with a key of index and then a class name. We're going to say on hover, we're going to say bg grade-200, then transition, close this out. Inside table row, we're going to have table details, and this is going to have a class name of padding all round of 4, closed out. And then this is going to show the item.name, and then copy this 2 more times. So the second one is going to say the last modified, and then this is going to say the kind, just like that. You can save that, and our table is now populated, as you can see, and even the hover states are working as we expect it to work. So we can type inside the input, and what you'll notice is that it already filters, as you can see. But what we need to do is that if there's no item returned on the screen, then we should show some kind of UI. So very simple to do that. So we're going to go below the table, and we're going to check if there's no filtered data, or the filtered data.length is triple equal to 0. So when both those two conditions are true, then we're going to turn a paragraph with a class name of margin on the top of 10 and text gray-900 with an opacity of 75 and text-sm and text-center. This is going to say no entries found. Try adjusting the search parameters. If we save that, then this is what shows on the screen when you type for something that doesn't exist in the table. Fantastic. Now, finally, below this, we're going to have a button with a class name of fixed, then bottom-4, right-4, rounded-full, bg blue-600, text-2xl, size-12, text-white, and then on hover, we're going to say opacity/75. And this is simply going to say plus, so the plus right there. But now we're going to have this button. This size is wrong. Ooh, what have I done? Why did that button look weird? Text XL to XL. What have I done? Fixed, bottom 4, right 4, rounded full, BG blue 600, text to XL, size 12, text white hover. Seems like I messed up with the dimensions of the button. What happens if I change this into 14? It's not that big of a deal though. Let's move these classes up to here, and then let's give it a BG blue-600. Okay, padding all round of 8. Oh, that's not one. Oh wait, padding all round. I give it the wrong class name. Okay, size-12. That is a square, so rounded-full should now make it fully rounded. Okay, and then text-white. So text-2xl is what was messing it up. 2xl, I think because of the line height that it has. So if I say tracking-none, or does that exist? Or tracking none does not exist. Oh no, it's tracking normal, right? Annoying. Let's just remove the text-2xl class, and then let's have it as that. And then of course on hover, give it an opacity of 75. So we're going to have that. Fantastic. So you can see that we are able to build very beautiful UIs from nothing very quickly. And that is going to be the end of this component. So once again, if you want to have access to the code that we have written in this project, then simply go into my GitHub profile. The repository is called UI Design Components, and then simply search for App Dashboard. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.